Hey guys, welcome back to this segment. More interesting stories as usual, and trust me to let you guys know what's currently happening with our team. And for this video, there's a number of things happening, and regarding Coach Austin Eguavoen and the fact that there have been some stakeholders around the Super Eagles, uh, past and present players, ex-internationals, and all sorts, who have now started backing Eguavoen, you know, and are now whispering to NFF that they should give Eguavoen the chance, you know, that they should give him the chance to be the permanent head coach of the team because uh, he is the one that actually has the answers, and he's played two games, did really well, more than average, actually winning one and drawing one. So there's been a lot of calls right now for NFF to, you know, pause with this whole search for a new coach and just concentrate on supporting Eguavoen for this role. And among the guys that have been talking and supporting Austin Eguavoen includes uh, former Super Eagles player John Ogu, who spoke out via his Twitter account, endearing NFF to please keep the coach, and give him time to keep rebuilding the team and move them forward. That's what he said on his Twitter. And then we have another stakeholder. This one is the former Super Eagles media officer Toyin Ibitoye, who has now also advised NFF to keep faith in Coach Austin Eguavoen. Also via his Twitter tweet, he said that the NFF should exercise patience with Austin Eguavoen and give him the permanent job instead of searching for a foreign coach that's going to obviously take a lot of time, a lot of red tapes and all of that to get this coach. And when you get them, you start to try and settle them and try to support them and make everything work for them. So it's always going to be difficult. It's going to be like scattering what Eguavoen has already created with these two important games that he played and had the results. So this is, in summary, what this former NFF's media person has said. And there's also John Mikel, who has been canvassing for Coach Austin Eguavoen to be given the chance. Mikel has been very vocal about his support for Austin Eguavoen via his Obi-Wan podcast, taking the Mikel talk show. And in one of the episodes, he said that he talked fondly about Austin Eguavoen, and he said that Austin Eguavoen was actually the man that gave him his debut as a kid when he was only 17 years old, and Eguavoen took Mikel to the FIFA World Cup as a 17-year-old kid. And according to Mikel, that's where he understood the kind of person that Eguavoen was and how fantastic he is as a manager. Mikel actually even compared Austin Eguavoen to Carlo Ancelotti in terms of man management skills. And he feels that the boys are in safe hands, they're in good hands, with Austin Eguavoen, and there is no need whatsoever to go out there scouring for coaches to replace him at the helm. So this is basically what's been coming out from stakeholders. They've been sending out these SOS to NFF for them to reconsider. But it still remains to be seen if NFF is going to heed to their words, because of course it's a federation, more or less the government of Nigerian football. So they are always going to do what they deem fit or what they deem best to do on behalf of the country. But again, opinions matter, personal opinions matter. So obviously, if they can look into this, it's going to be something great. But again, moving further, but still, about Eguavoen, the gist now is that Austin Eguavoen is actually trying really hard. In fact, the report is that he has made the first move to try and get George Illenekhana to play for Nigerian Super Eagles. I made a video the last time, where I talked about how, the possibility or the likelihood of George Illenekhana coming around to play for Nigeria is actually on a high, even though some people may not believe it. And the latest now is that Eguavoen is actually making strides to get this man. And the first thing, or one of the first things that he has done right now, is to contact, his former teammates who played with who played with Ilenikhena at Royal Antwerp. That's Chidera Ejuke, who currently plays for Sevilla, and then we had the likes of Al Hassan Yusuf, who is now plying his trade in the US. So these guys are the first port of contact. Obviously, they were friends there. They had each other's contact. So Eguavoen and the whole Super Eagles scouting team have now asked for Ilenikhana's number from these guys who are close friends with him, and they've now sent out the word. But they are still waiting for Ilenikhana to respond. Of course, it's always going to be the player who decides that, hey, I want to come around to play for the team. It's always going to be that way. You can't force anyone. You cannot carry rope and tie someone and drag them to Nigeria to play. So it's always going to be the player who gives the green light. But of course, it could soften the deal, contacting the player's parents who has a say in the situation. For example, we've seen a lot of players decide to play for certain countries over other country because, for example, their mother wants them to play for that country, or their dad wants them to play, and the player wants to fulfill the dream or the wish of their mother or their father. So these things are also something that could be a factor. But right now Ilenikhana hasn't responded. Hopefully we are going to get a good response, good positive response, that he's going to be like, okay, I'm coming around, and then I'll be the happiest guy in Nigeria if that happens. But again, of course, Eguavoen has selected the 35-man list, not just him, he and the technical committee. But the gist is that they are still kind of waiting for some of these players that they've tried to reach out to, Ilenikhana being one of them. So if they get a good positive response on time, then they might just tweak that list and then add some of these players. So Ilenikhana's name might be added if they get a good response. And then of course all the whole paperwork from the document to transfer of allegiance from being a French player to being a Nigerian player, all those things, if everything checks out, then obviously we will get to see George Illenekhana switch over to play for Nigerian Super Eagles. But again, we'll see what happens as the day goes by. More important stories, more developments happen. But right now, that's the updates for this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned.